Hello and welcome back to Stick to Fitness. I'm Hymsuen and I'm joined by my co-host Archie. And on today's episode, we're tackling the fitness equivalent of finding a unicorn riding a rainbow, building muscle and losing fat at the same time. Is it possible to turn your dad bod into a Greek god while simultaneously shrinking your love handles? Can you really have your protein cake and eat it too? So Archie, what do you think?
I think what does Jeff Nippard say first? What does he say?
He's saying I need to get a CT scan first.
But I think in the first instance it is possible to a certain extent. I think you're going to be limited for how long it's going to stay in that state for before your body starts rejecting and shutting down. If you're doing like a long stint of dieting, like 6 months, for example, I think by the time you get to like kind of month 3 or 4, you're going to be pushing it a little bit.
I think it just depends on where you're at in terms of your experience levels. Like if you're a newbie, right?
Yeah, you can
do anything.
Do anything.
You're growing. You can be eating nothing and you train, you're going to grow.
Yeah.
You can be eating loads of food, you train, you're going to grow.
It's a great place to be at.
Yeah. But you do, I think the most important thing to understand is like muscle building, it requires training.
It takes time as well.
That is the key process. It's not whether you're in surplus or whether you're in a deficit. It's whether or not you're training, whether or not you hit your protein intake. I think those two things are the most important thing when it comes to building muscle. Outside of that, the other stuff is assisting in it. But if you don't train,
yeah. But there's a lot of things at the minute though, is like about how much you kind of have to train. Do you have to do a 5-day split, 4-day split, or can you do 20 minutes twice a week, for example?
Again, I think it comes down to your recovery capabilities, right? So let's say if you train, my 5 days is not going to be the same as somebody else's 5 days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not to say that I'm like this particular guy that is elite or trains hard, but I think I train relatively okay. But some people don't train that hard. And in which case, they probably can't train every day.
Well, that's why about to say some people who say, yeah, I train every day. Why don't you train every day? And it's like, well, doing
I can deadlift 6 plates.
Yeah.
Why can't you deadlift 6 plates?
One of my sessions is like 3 of yours.
Yeah, that's it.
So the stress that's being put under one of my sessions compared to your sessions, again, that's not talking about me saying that I'm the best trainer ever or whatever. It's just an observation. It's like, it's going to be a lot harder to do what I do and do that every single day. And that's why one of the best things that you made me do was train harder and drop down to 4 days a week rather than doing like kind of 5-6 days where it's 2 of them are probably half-assed anyway because you're just tired from training anyway and your recovery capabilities aren't there. Whereas like, I know I'm training 4 times a week and every time I go in there, I'm going to hammer it, balls to the wall or whatever, and hopefully going to be able to recover it. And sometimes even then doing that, it's still not fully recovered when it comes around to doing it the following week.
I think 4 or 5 times is a good place to be. It just really depends on how hard you train. It's all dependent on, you're trying to balance out the frequency, your recovery capabilities as well, right? So obviously the less recovered that you are, the more rest that you're going to need.
Right. I think in terms of the question, in terms of like, can you build muscle, lose fat? I think if you're a muscular person anyway, and I have this all the time, as soon as I get below a certain weight and I lose a certain amount of body fat, you look way bigger. You're not actually bigger. It's just that it's that illusion of you're looking bigger. You're not actually, because you've been training for so many years. Yeah. Yes, you're just unveiling the muscle that you kind of have. Yeah. So that illusion that you look bigger, your waist is a bit smaller, shoulders are going to look a bit broader, arms look a bit bigger. People are like, well, you look massive. And it's like, well, no, I just lost 15 kilos, so I look a bit better actually. I'm not actually.
It's weird, yeah. You look massive with your top off, but I wear clothes and you're like, you look like you shrunk.
Yeah, I think if you've been training long enough and you're training smart, I think that first initial push you're going to be able to maintain. I think even when you've been training a long time, even just maintaining your gains is still an achievement. in that dieting
not
phase.
Losing as much
not
muscle,
losing
right?
as much muscle as you did the last time that you dieted. And obviously that's your ability to sustain your training performance whilst being in a deficit. Because I know, for me, that's one thing that I've struggled with previously is like, as soon as it starts getting hard, I'm like, oh, I don't want to deadlift today because it's going to be hard. I'm not eating enough. And you start telling yourself that you can't do it when really, second time I dieted, and it was like, wow, no matter what happens, I'm doing this. And it's just a different mindset. And it's like, yeah, you can. You might not progress it in terms of how you wanted to with more weight or more reps, but you're holding on to those numbers that you had when you were 20 kilos heavier. Yeah. And even that in itself is an achievement. It's a PB still just at a different body weight.
That's it, man. What do you think of, obviously, the science behind it? So I think a lot of the times people think that, I need to have this surplus to gain muscle, right? So then in turn trying to do them both at the same time it's not a great idea. But
it's also the amount of the surplus. Yeah. I think that's, and I still fall victim to that. And I've been training 12 years nearly.
Yeah.
I still fall victim to that where it's like, I need to eat more, I need to eat more, I need to eat more, I need to eat more.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. I just need to eat maybe 300-400 calories more.
Yeah.
And I'll be good. But I don't know why my brain can't comprehend that, and I still choose to eat in excess of 2,000 a day.
Yeah, I know that I need to eat more. That is legit for me. It's like I struggle.
But I think most people underestimate how much they're eating. Oh, I'm eating so much. It's like, you've eaten twice today.
Yeah.
Like, you've eaten twice and you're telling me that you're not going to eat again for the rest of the day.
If your weight is not gaining, you've not eaten too much.
Or it's like, or people's like, oh yeah, I eat so much. No, you eat nothing. Or, no, I eat nothing at all. You're like, no, you eat a lot.
Loads, yeah.
You just are eating a lot of the wrong things that you've, like, yes, what you're eating is small portions, quantity-wise, but on your toast, you're putting on half a thing of peanut butter. So it's actually quite a lot. It's not, or you're eating loads of cashew nuts or whatever.
The people that always struggle to gain muscle, they're the ones that undereat a lot, I feel.
Of course.
They don't, I was there. That was me. I was always like, I'm a hard gainer. Just fucking didn't eat.
If you're really eating a lot and you're pushing it, you don't want to eat.
Yeah.
And you can't. Yeah. And that being at that point is one of the weirdest stages of like a fitness journey, because you're like, I'm literally forcing myself to eat this food. I remember before I started that last prep, I think I even sent it to you. I was like, just remind me of this in 6 months' time when I'm starving and I didn't want to eat.
Yeah.
Because you will get to that point again where you're dropping and then you're like, I'm so hungry.
It's always the extremes, isn't it? It's always like, I don't want to eat food when you're bulking. And then when you're like doing fat loss, you're always like, fucking starving.
Yeah, of course. It's always, but that's where then it becomes like a mental battle, isn't it? Where it's just like, you just got to withhold and stay strong. Same way, you just got to force it in. Whether it takes you, like, I'm a quick eater, but sometimes I'll be sitting there, like, this is still quick for me, like 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah, you eat very fast.
I eat rapid.
Fucking fast.
I don't know
That's probably why you can eat so much.
Yeah, because it doesn't register that I've eaten.
Yeah.
My mum tells me that all the time.
I'm a grazer. I'm like a cat.
You take forever.
I tell you, I'm slow.
I could eat about 2 meals. What I order, I could eat twice before you even finish one.
When you're eating, I have to fucking catch up.
And I order way more than you as well.
I had to be like, fuck, I need to eat this faster because this guy's going to go home before I finish eating.
No, yeah, I don't know why that is. I don't know why, but I've always been like that, even since a kid.
I'm a grazer. I like to eat slowly. I think because I'm just not that interested in the food.
But I think that's where, like, when you get to that point, though, I always joke about it. Westy, we always joke about, like, it's like, we're actually so messed up in the head because we literally have eating disorders. But we just, because we do fitness, it's accepted. It's accepted the fact that I'm just like, I don't care what it is. I'm just going to eat it for function.
Westy can eat, innit?
Yeah, he can eat a lot. Yeah,
can he out eat you?
We haven't put that to the test yet.
Oh shit! Okay, you called him out.
I'd eat quicker.
He'd eat faster.
He's a
big dude, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
we always, but that's what I'm saying. We always joke about it. Like, we are so fucked up. Like,
yeah,
we should be checked out by like a psychiatrist, because I'm literally looking at it and I'm like, I don't care what it tastes like. I'm going to woof this down because I need it for function.
Yeah.
I don't care what it tastes like, anything like that. And that's the attitude to kind of look into it. And then the same way, if we're not dieting for something, so that's why it was so funny when I was prepping and he was like, like for context, Westy doesn't compete. He's just a normal guy from Essex, likes training, this, that, the other, but similar personality traits. And when I was prepping, he was prepping alongside me, but with no end goal. So his end goal was my competition, but he had no intention of ever stepping on the stage or doing anything. And we were he was so dialed.
He got lean though.
He got so lean, like best shape he's probably ever been in. Then as soon as I had finished, he did the exact same thing as me. We just went out and just like went crazy. But it's like, that's a serious like condition, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's actually quite fucked up. And then it's the same way where if we're not got something to work towards, that's why even now, like with my 30th coming
he's
up,
not, I wouldn't say he's out of shape now though. I wouldn't say he's like, he's not as lean as he was, but he's not like.
No, it's not about being out of shape, but it's about those habits that you have.
Yeah.
Why is it that you can then literally, if I called him now and said, that's it, Mike, I said, we're back on it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay, cool, we're in. And then that's it.
Dialed.
Every day, steps, cardio, training, weighing everything out to the gram. But unless that happens, we're just both like,
it's all or nothing, isn't it?
It's all or nothing.
That's it.
But I can't maintain.
Yeah.
He can't do.
But your nothing is not. It's not so bad. Do you know what I mean? It's not like.
No, it's not like we don't train. But his nothing is like doesn't train. No, that's what I'm saying. I was talking to him about it. So like, for some people, their nothing will be, and this is him. He's like doesn't train, doesn't go and do steps, eats whatever the hell they want, then gets upset about like kind of how they're looking, then goes all in. Whereas like my nothing is, right, maybe I make sure I eat enough protein, not really too bothered about anything else, make sure I'm still training, progressing my lifts, and then when I get to a point where I'm unhappy, I'll just jump back in again.
Yeah.
I respect those people that can do this, like, you know, like a Jack Foreman.
Yeah.
Those people that his mental capacity to be able to do that every single day is insane.
Yeah.
That for me is like being in jail.
But is that
like
not
living in? You're like captive.
Is that not just his personality? Like, it's where he likes that like routine.
Of course, but think how hard that is though to eat. You're talking about, and when people are like, I can't eat the same thing every day.
Yeah. Because
that's a normal response to being told to eat the same thing every day. And you got people like him and other people that live this fitness life where it's like they eat the same thing every day at the same time.
The timing thing gets me. My man's on it like.
No, but this is what I'm saying. But that's when I find that kind of impressive as well at the same time, because it's like that's like
I think Steve's a bit like that as well. Steve Hall.
Steve who?
Steve Hall, yeah.
Yeah, but then that's why they do so well.
Yeah, that's it.
So, but to have that personality in terms of being able to do that is like.
They must think we're not serious.
We're not serious, bro. We went to the bodybuilding show. We was going to go to McDonald's. Everyone else is whipping out meal prep.
Where did we go in the end?
Pepe's.
Pepe's, okay. Yeah.
We looked at each other and went, are you hungry? Yeah. Should we go to McDonald's? Yeah. Everyone else has got their 6-pack fitness bags.
Yeah.
We're not serious. Stick to fitness though.
There you go. Everyone's different, man. Everyone's different. Don't do what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what works for you. You know what I mean?
do what makes you happy.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think one of the big things with trying to do both at the same time is you end up not doing either. You know, like people trying to
just stay in limbo.
Yeah.
I think I would say you end up doing one or the other.
You think? You kind of lean more towards one side.
Yeah. And I think 9 times out of 10 you always then end up leaning towards the fat loss.
But then do you not feel like you just kind of do it shit?
Yeah, you never get to where you kind of want to be, or it ends up being prolonged because it's taking longer. Because how many people, I know so many people, it's funny, where they're like, yeah, I've been dieting for a week, I'm not doing it anymore, I feel skinny.
It's like when
you heard that?
Yeah, it's when like bodybuilders are like, I'm flat.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing.
You're not flat, man.
Yeah.
You're not flat.
You're not flat.
Sometimes the flat look is better.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But yeah,
so many people, I can't do this anymore. I'm weak. It's like, it's been a week.
How? Yeah.
Because their mindset is that if I go into this fat loss phase, I'm not going to build muscle and I'm not going to retain my strength, and
But then they focus on. Then they go, I'm overweight. Like,
a week later they're like, no, I need to go on a diet. And then you just end up going through cycles. Like I said, I've said this before. How many people, if you trained at a gym for 5 years, I went like 4 or 5 times a week. How many people during that time frame are doing the same amount of workouts as you, this, that, the other? How many people actually make progress? It's way less than what you'd actually expect.
I think the big one as well is where people just don't spend long enough in gaining phases too. Like, they'll dabble in it. They'll like, so many people like, the expectation is that they're gonna do 6 weeks or 3 months of bulking, and then they're gonna cut again.
But it's dabbling.
You're not getting nothing out.
It's
of that.
dabbling, and then even during the dabbling phase, you're not even committed to it fully.
Exactly. You're not getting nothing out.
When you're talking about being all in on a gaining phase, you're talking about no matter what happens, you've hit your calorie intake for the day. No matter how you feel, tired, got to force it in. Doesn't matter if you feel ill, sick. It's like, can you honestly say that for like 2 years, every single day you were in a calorie surplus?
I have such a longer term mindset that I just don't feel like anything less than 6 months for gaining phase. Even 6 months, I just think is a bit of a joke.
No, yeah.
For gaining.
But it's not, because that's by the time you get into the stage where it's like, oh yeah, no, you're starting to progress this now. And then you're like, oh yeah, let me stop doing that. And obviously I made that mistake. I made a lot of mistakes. I made that mistake. Used to do like, right, I'm going to do this and then get shredded in 12 weeks. And it's just...
People do that though.
But you just end up...
But I just feel like they don't...
You end up going nowhere. You're just like swimming in circles.
I just feel like they don't want to gain that much muscle. They don't care. Like if you really were serious about gaining the most amount of muscle possible, you take like 2-3 years, however long it takes to be in a building phase.
But then you got to also accept the fact that you're going to look a certain way for. And I think
that's to be though.
I think that's the hard part.
You don't have to be though.
No, you don't have to be. But I think if that's not a look that you like, talk about like body positivity, you just have to suck it up and swallow it.
That's it, isn't it?
But there's a longer term play. Like it's good, bigger fish to fry than what you look like in here and now.
Yeah, I think the thing that stops people a lot is that right now they think too much in the now and not enough long term in the future.
Like, because I'll get kids come up to me and say, "Are you not training anymore?" And it's like, "Why is that?" Is that what you're
fat?
Yeah, basically. Not in so many words, but yeah. I'm like, yeah, still training, just... Or people are like to me, so what are you training for? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, we've got anything coming up? Or like, I'm like, no, not really, but obviously still just training. They're like, so what are you training for? I'm like, just building muscle? Is that okay? Are you allowed to do that? Or is that frowned upon? Or because there's not going to be
athlete, right? They probably see you as an athlete. It's like, you must be competing again. You know what I mean? So you got to tell.
I don't know if I'll ever compete again.
You think?
Nah, I will again. I've got to do one more.
Yeah, one more.
Got to do one more.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one because, like, I just feel people don't commit to the thing that it's a very short-sighted thing that people see the immediate, and not and that I think that is what stops people from doing what they want to do or achieving what they want to achieve. Just like fat loss. But they just can't see the end result. So they stop. It's like, I can't, I'm struggling with this. This is hard. I'm busy. I'm just not going to do it. It's like, yeah, but it's not immediate. You need to do it for a long time to be able to achieve what you need to achieve. It's the same for muscle building.
It's going to take longer than you think as well.
A lot longer.
Like longer than you plan for. So if you plan a 6-week diet or whatever.
Well, if you don't stick to it.
You're going to need 15 weeks, 16 weeks. It. So you got to know that it's going to take longer than you anticipate. If you plan it for 12 weeks, it's not going to take 12 weeks.
Yeah. For me, it's a constant battle with clients that are in building phases to hold them off. Hold off. Don't cut yet. Because,
and even that though, as a coach, you can't control whether they're gonna. You can tell them to say like, no, we're gonna hold off and do whatever. But then if they're secretly like, well, yeah, let me not eat that meal.
Of course. But then it's like, why are you coaching me?
Yeah.
If you're not going to listen. There's certain times where you do need to take a stand as a coach to be like, look, man, if you're telling, and sometimes it's just having those hard conversations just about, look, you're telling me that you want to gain as much muscle as possible. You want to change the way that you look. And I'm telling you that if you do it this way, you're probably not going to see that. Because, you can, or you just give them the options. You tell them the truth of what it is. If you want to do this, if you want to gain at this pace, this is what you're going to expect to see. Oh, I don't want to see that. Oh, so you don't want to see that? Okay, cool. This is what.
If you want to gain kilos a week, this is what you're going to look like, buddy.
Yeah. But this is how you want to gain muscle, right? This is what you can expect to occur from the actions that you want to take.
Do you feel like you feel like you've gained muscle, but have you noticed?
I don't know. It's shit.
You don't notice it, do you? It's so weird.
Never. It's only when you diet and then you're like, oh, I put on some muscle.
No, but even like if you think about how you like were when you first started training, compared to like now. Have you ever just noticed like the muscle growing? If that makes sense.
I don't think so. You just don't. You just kind of pop up and you're like, you see a picture of yourself and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, but imagine. So you look at that picture when you're like, oh wow, yeah, I did. How did that happen? Like, I guess it's like
you know how it happened.
No, but I guess it's like with your child as well. Though it's like you see your child every day. Then one day will come, you're like, shit. When the hell did that happen?
She's 10.
Yeah. No, but this is what I'm saying. But it's the same with muscle, right? Where it's just like
it's the same.
You might look at your legs and just be like, when the hell did they get that big?
Yeah.
Or like whatever body part.
I mean, you just don't question it. You're just like, oh shit.
Because at least with like when you're dieting, you can be like day to day, you can see changes, yeah? When you get to a certain level, you can see like daily changes where you're like, oh shit, look good.
Yeah. Like, I had that from my last prep when I did the BMBF, right? And then I saw the stage pictures. And it was only when I got home. Obviously I won and I was like, okay, cool, must look good, yeah. I won, and then my wife showed me the picture, and I was like, "Oh, let's have a look at it." I was like, "Oh shit, is that me?"
Yeah,
and that was the first time I've had that. But
even when it's like, once upon a time, you were wearing a small t-shirt, and now you're wearing whatever. It's like, does anyone ever actually process the fact that once upon a time I was wearing a medium, and now you wear?
I think other people see you grow. It's the same with fat loss, right? You don't really see yourself change. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. Because it's happening like on your body. But because you see yourself all the time, you don't notice it.
No, I know, but do you not think that's a really weird, like...
Yeah.
That's so weird. Like, it's not even like it's fat loss where it's like things are coming off you. Like, things are being added to your frame and you're not aware of when it's happening.
I still get it now. Like, in Singapore, I was growing, right? Like, and I used to think that I could fit through small gaps, like on your scooter. I was like, and I'd keep whacking stuff with my shoulder.
Yeah, that's a good way to tell as well.
I've actually hit something, and I keep thinking that I can squeeze through this gap, but I can't. But yeah, that's the thing, right? It's because people don't see that change, and they're looking at the pictures constantly. Oh, I don't see a change. I should be changing. It's like, it's difficult to kind of explain to someone that you don't see it until.
I think the only thing I've ever done with someone is they were obsessed with this is a female client who wanted to build muscle, and she was obsessed with taking pictures like every day.
But what do people expect to see?
This is what I said to her. I said, I'm telling you, stop taking photos. I said, take a photo now.
Yeah.
Look at the date, and I said, in 6 months' time, whatever the date was, I said, we'll take a picture then. And then in 6 months' time from there, we'll take another picture. And then we'll compare 1, 2, 3, because then that's a year. But you doing this every day and getting frustrated is just like, it's not good.
It's like it's almost fueling it more.
But it's making you more anxious about like, or nervous about whether or not the process is actually working.
Yeah. So you hurt your toe or something every day. Fucking look. Well, I hurt my wrist, right? Every day, I'm like, oh, it still hurts.
No, but it's like broke my wrist, still broken.
Yeah.
Next day, still broken.
Why is it
Next
not
day, still broken. Then all of a sudden, one day, it's fixed. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't do that, right?
That's just not how it works.
Yeah, it is human nature. We are like that. We just like watch paint dry.
Yeah.
Is it dry yet?
No, it's not. I got a fingerprint on it.
Yeah. But when you leave it and you come back, it's dried.
So I think
you can do what you need to
go back to the original question. I think what we kind of uncovered is that like even a factor in that is going to be personality trait. whether you have the ability to stick at it for a prolonged period of time. Because if you can't, you're not going to achieve muscle, and you're not going to achieve fat loss. You're just going to be the same.
Yeah, and you have to go down one direction. I feel like if you doing both at the same time, you never really hit either.
Well, you have to commit, and I think that's that's what separates, like even like an average gym person to someone who's like at another level is the commitment to it, where it's like, I don't care what happens, don't care how I look, don't care how I feel, I've committed to this process, and I'm not giving up on it no matter kind of however whatever happens.
Set yourself a target.
Yeah,
I'm going to do this for a year, 2 years, or whatever, and just do it for that length of time, and don't look back.
Yeah,
and then constantly question, is this the right path I should be? Because you're never going to know until you do it.
Well, from the last show that I did,
and
then you changed like my whole back workout and stuff.
Yeah,
and what's that been now? 2 and a bit years, 2 years,
something like that. Yeah,
2 and a bit years. I'll be honest, I've committed fully to that back.
Yeah,
like. So I want to. So part of coming down in weight now is like, right, let's see if we've done anything. Because if not, I'm just gonna quit. I'm just gonna retire
and do what I was doing before.
Yeah, because I committed. I was all in on back training. I took it so seriously, like tempo, form, not just throwing weights around, making sure eating, obviously, and things like that. Still trained as normal for other body parts, but when it came to doing like back exercises,
but then
it's been really specific, really meticulous, like the preparation for it. And it's like, even if my other part of the workout is not as good as it could be, doing these back workouts 3 times a week has to be like, that's the most important part of the week for me, is making sure that those, however many movements, 8 movements or whatever, are all executed with good form, tempo till failure.
That's what I did. Because when I figured out, like, on stage, I was like, why the hell is my back so shit? I just committed to back training. And it's been, since I pretty much started competing in 2017, since then, all my training splits have all been based around back. Like, I started off doing back 3 times a week. That was brutal. And then obviously as I got more, I say advanced, but I started to get a better connection with it, I reduced it down. So now it's only like twice, because now that's what I can recover from. And it has grown, but naturally it's not a strong body part for me. It's not something that is, it's going to grow as quick as legs, for example.
That's what I'm obsessing about at the minute is back. If anyone got any back tips, let us know.
Yeah, because we're dreadful with back. But yeah. What do you think of like the concept of like, refeeds, metabolic flexibility with, the whole, building muscle in a deficit and stuff like that? Do you think people need to have certain higher days for, if they're...
So we kind of did that, didn't we? So we did 1 day a week.
That was when we were dieting though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of being in the dieting phase, I think for a lot of that was just, I want to say placebo, because it was a day I looked forward to. And then I knew in my head, I was like, right, I know at least tomorrow, the next day is going to be a good session because I've eaten more on the Sunday. That makes sense. So there was like no excuses really. So I guess that kind of helped with that. In terms of what you mean in terms of like...
I guess there's a lot of like, people think you can do some body recomposition, right? From when you're dieting. So if you're doing a fat loss phase on its own, trying to build muscle from that, you can use things like refeeds to help you to, I guess, build more muscle on those days, things like that.
What's like, if you train legs, eat more calories?
Yeah, kind of thing.
No, because I think it's about how much you eat over the course of the week anyway.
Whether you're in the surplus or not, right? Rather than just one day.
And recovery. So if you train legs and eat more food on leg day, but then your sleep's the worst on that day, or the days following, 2 days after or whatever, how's that? I think there's more at play than... If you're saying that everything is like fantastic, sleep's good, recovery's good, then possibly, but I don't know. It's a good question.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else that you want to add on the bulking, cutting? Any practical advice that you can give someone?
I think for either
if someone's like thinking, should I be doing? Which one should I be doing?
Which one should you be doing? I think if you're new to training, just continue to bulk. You've been training for a while and if you've been training for a while and you feel like you're not seeing any gains, then maybe like a little 12, 15 week cut will relight your fire sort of thing when you start seeing those kind of gains come through. But whatever phase you're doing, I think you need to be prepared, like in terms of food preparation. Because that's going to be a mess.
I think age is a big factor that you need to think about as well. So if you're young, it's probably just worth not cutting and just spending those years bulking, right?
Yeah, dirty bulking.
It's hard. It's hard to...
It's hard when you're like 18. I remember that was 18, 19. And
all I wanted to be lean.
All I wanted to do was be lean.
You want to have a six-pack.
I wanted to have a six-pack to go to Malia.
That's
Ibiza.
But arguably, those are the years that you want to be in the most...
In hindsight...
Building the most muscle.
Could you have went till... Because I did one like fitness modeling thing when I was like 20 as well. So it was like...
I lucked out, man. I didn't do any dieting until late.
Yeah.
I was just always like trying to eat more, build more muscle, eat better foods.
I'm trying to do it now, but it's probably too little too late.
It's never too late. All right, so we hope you found our discussion interesting. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a review on iTunes and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And you can find me on Instagram at Gym With Him, and Archie is at Archie13 with 2 E's. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.